Are you starting the podcast without me? Yo, what are you doing? Jeez, you was gonna start without me? I mean, I know I've been gone a while, but jeez, I'm right here. Steven, wow, like, come on, can you at least wait for me, at least call me over or something? Jeez, you act like I was never gonna come back to my own podcast again. Jeez. Anyway, let's get started. What's up, everyone? Irving TV, Double I TV, whatever you guys want to call me, as long as it's nothing disrespectful, because if it gets disrespectful, then you know what? I'm gonna let Steven take over the podcast. Y'all gonna have to listen to him the entire podcast. Actually, you know what? That's not even a bad idea. You know what? Matter of fact, Steven, we should get you your own podcast. What you think? I mean, you was ready to get started on the podcast without me, so at least you be putting in work and you ready to go, even though you was ready to take over my podcast. Anyway, I like to welcome y'all to episode 20 of Squirrel Moments, the podcast, y'all. I know it's been a long time since I dropped that episode. Actually, it's been a while since I really dropped any videos or did anything in a while. And I'm gonna let y'all know the reasons why in a second, but I'm just happy to be back, y'all, again. You know, usual, take a break, come back, take a break, come back. Isn't that the life of a content creator? You know, we do a lot of work and then we take a break and then we come back and say, oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just joking, y'all. But no, seriously, I like to welcome everybody. I love, you know, I'm going to continue saying this, but I just love making content. I love the podcast and all this stuff. Hold on. First of all, today's date is September the 10th, 2022. And again, I know it's been a while since I did a podcast, drop any videos or anything like that. And I'm going to tell you the reason why in a second. But first, again, I appreciate everybody that's watching the video version, which is on youtube.com/iIrvingTV. I appreciate everyone. Hold on, before we go any farther, y'all like my cup that I got from Five Below? How about mention I love shopping at Five Below and I can spend a lot of money at Five Below? Yeah, it says fueled by anime and video games. Yup. And then y'all see my shirt. I got my anime shirt. So yeah, yep. Well, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I appreciate everybody that's watching the video version, which is on youtube.com/iIrvingTV. I also appreciate everybody that's listening to the audio version, which is on anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, what is it? Google Podcasts, whatever that is, and whatever other platforms y'all may be listening on. So first of all, I like to say I appreciate everybody that's been patient with me, that's been sticking with me, that's been supporting me, and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate every single bit of it. And now to get to the meat and potatoes of why I haven't not been here, why I haven't dropped the podcast or any videos or anything like that in a while, or really been streaming a while. And I'm gonna get to that. But first of all, before we get to that, I would like everybody to, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on all my social medias, which if you're watching the video version, they're on the screen. But if you're not watching the video version, you're listening to the audio version, blah, 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 blah. Everything is iIrving TV, Twitter. I have a Facebook, a public Facebook, I should say now. Twitter, what else? I have a Snapchat, even though I don't really use that. Instagram, which I'm more active on. TikTok, all of that. Everything is iIrving TV. So yeah, so go ahead and follow me on those social medias and let's go ahead and get started on the podcast, even though somebody tried to start before I even got here. I don't want to hear that. I still love you though, Steven. But anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes of why I have not been doing that much uploading and all that stuff. And it is the greatest news ever. It is the greatest news ever. Y'all ready? This is why I've been super busy. Of course, I have a full-time job. That's one thing. But you know, I always manage to drop content while having a full-time job and all that kind of stuff. So that's no excuse. No, let me tell y'all what really been going on. I'm gonna tell you what's really been going on. Y'all wanna know? Y'all ready? I don't think they're ready, Steven. You think they're ready? Nah, I don't think they're ready. But we gotta tell them anyway. Here is the biggest news ever of the year 2022 for me. I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been talking about this. Anybody that's been sticking around probably already know what it is without even guessing. But I've been talking about this for a long time. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the news? Your boy has finally been approved for an apartment. I'm going to be moving in the end of October. Yes. Your boy has finally got an apartment. Your boy is finally going to be moving out. Going to be getting his own apartment. And let me tell y'all real quick. When I got approved for it, it was, oh my gosh, I was so happy. I don't think words can describe how happy I was feeling when they say I got approved, cause for people that have been sticking around long enough, y'all know this is the biggest thing I've been talking about. Getting my own place, getting my own place, you know, because I live with my dad, whatever, which ain't the worst thing. It's not. It's nowhere near the worst thing. But just I've been talking about it for a while because I want to be able to do stuff. Well, first of all, I'm 28 going on 29. And I lived on my own before, but it was only a couple months in that situation. I think I talked about the situation before. Not in too much details, but I talked about that situation before. I've been trying to move for 3-4 years now, but then there was a whole bunch of roadblocks and all that stuff. And finally, I bypassed all those roadblocks. I bypassed it. I was able to get past those roadblocks. I was able to knock them down, and I finally got it. Now, there's a lot of people that's out there probably thinking, Ira, it's just an apartment. Why are you so excited? It ain't like it's a house or anything. Well, first of all, screw you, because don't rain on my parade. Don't rain on my parade. Shoot, everybody got, you know, success is different, you know, accomplishments and goals are different for each person. You know, what might be small to you is bigger to that other person. Like, yes, it's not a house right now because I'm not ready for a house, but to finally, again, I've been trying to get my own place for like 3-4 years, and finally it's working out. It is working out, y'all. It is working out, and I work hard to finally get this to get on move, you know, to get things moving, because you know, I was working at Amazon and I was getting okay money, but it was like, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for what I need and wanted. So of course I got my new job, which I'm still not telling y'all where I work at, but I do work from home, but that's the only thing I'm gonna say. Hold on. Let me take a sip of my sparkling water that's in this bottle. Hold on. Put that over here. So yeah, things are finally moving forward. You know, I'm just happy and I'm proud of myself. And, you know, people probably saying, oh, you proud of yourself? You're so narcissistic. No, I'm proud of myself. I work hard to get in this position. When I say I work hard to get in this position, I work hard. And one of the reasons why I want my own place, because one, I'm a grown ass man. You know, I'm 28, about to go on 29 by the end of this year. And I want to keep doing this content creation stuff, but I just can't up and record because, again, I live with my dad. So by the time I'm ready to record, do what I'm ready to do, he going to sleep. So out of respect, it's certain things I can and can't not do. Can and cannot do, I meant to say. My English and grammar is horrible, but that's what's been going on. That's what's been going on. So I've been, you know, back and forth with that. And then there was a couple distractions that happened. Gosh, my bandana's kind of crooked. There we go. Hold on. Man, I mean, even more crooked. Ooh, maybe I should have left it how it was. I don't care. But there was a couple distractions that happened. That's why another reason why I haven't been uploading recently. But you know, I'm back. But there's gonna be some differences that's gonna happen on the channel, at least until I move. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But I'm just glad. I am just so glad that y'all don't know how happy that makes me feel. Cause now I can move forward. I can start going forward and start doing more stuff. You know, again, living on my own, and it's a nice apartment too. It's not in the shady area, anything like that. It's a nice apartment too. It's not like nothing too fancy, but it's nice. It's nice, and I'm paying good money for it, which was in my butt. Well, it was a little bit above my budget, but not too much. Not too much. It's like, put it this way, it was in my budget, but it was on the higher end of my budget. So I was like, but you know what though? It's exactly what I wanted, because ever since I started looking at apartments a few years back, this was the apartments I was really looking into. Like, I was like, I really want these apartments. I really want this, but they ain't have any openings. And then their prices went up since I last looked at them. So this is how it happened, right? So the apartment that I got now, they ain't have any openings. So I'm like, huh. So one day I was driving around, just before I had to go to work. I was driving around, looking at other apartments and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I did stuff online, but sometimes you got to go in person as well. Sometimes you just got to do that. But something told me just to call the apartment complex I was looking at for a while, and it was like, because there was a certain room that I want. I'm just gonna say it's a 1-bedroom, 1 loft. I'm gonna keep it at that. But there was like, hey, we got 2 openings. One somebody already took, and somebody else got an appointment for. So I was like, hey, about that second one, hey, can I come in now and put in an application? They was like, no, but we'll send you the application online. So, I hurry up and, put in the application, whatever. And the funny thing is, I was working on the application while I was at work too. So I'm taking calls, doing this, all that kind of stuff. So I hopped on top of it and I got it. I got approved within like a week and a half. So, oh yeah, it's time. It is time. I worked hard. I went through a lot to finally get here. So, I got majority of my furniture ready. I basically just got just about everything. It just a matter now of coming up with a little bit more money because my security deposit was a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be, but it still worked out. So yeah, so come next month, y'all going to be seeing some different content and all that stuff. But speaking of that, first of all, I'm mad at myself because as y'all saw, my cheeks are getting a little fuller. I kind of gained a little bit of weight in the last 2 months. Working from home, it's kind of hard to burn off weight. So, but I'm going to start doing things different. Yeah, I gained a little weight. I'm mad at myself because I was doing so good and I messed it up. But like I said, I've been having a couple distractions. But it's all good, though. It's all good. I got to start my morning walks again and all that stuff because I'm not a morning person. I always end up waking up late, quote unquote. So, but yeah. But until I move, this is what's going to happen as far as like my content creation process is going to go. This is the direction that, that things are going to go. Well, first of all, as far as like any Let's Plays or any big projects, all of them I put on hold. Like all my Let's Plays projects, big production stuff, I'm putting that on hold right now because I don't want to start nothing and then, I get interrupted during the move and then things just kind of out of whack. So I'm going to put all my Let's Plays, all my big production stuff, all the stuff that I have planned as far as like anything big per se, I'm putting that on hold right now. I'm putting all that on hold. But what I'm still going to do is I'm going to still do streaming. I'm still do weekly streaming, which I've been slacking on, but I'm going to get back on that. I'm going to do weekly streaming. I'm going to still do the TikToks and all that kind of stuff because I still want to grow on TikTok as well. And then I'm still going to do like clips, videos here and there on the channel, on my YouTube channel. But as far as like anything major, I'm going to hold off on all that because, again, it's a lot of back and forth and all that kind of stuff. And again, I just don't want to start nothing major and then, the move happen and then just things get thrown out of whack. So things are just going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do more streaming and TikTok stuff just for the time being until I get settled into my new place. So again, I'm moving at the end of August. So, and then during around that time, I'll probably slow down a little bit because I'm getting settled in and all that kind of stuff. So, but other than that, again, more streaming. Because I just don't want to do a lot of editing right now. I'm not ready to do a lot of editing. And I already say this before. I've said this plenty of times. As much as I love the content creation process, the editing is my least favorite. So I don't want to stress myself out or stretch myself out too thin. So hold on, where my phone at? Because I got a text earlier. Hold on, I'm having a squirrel moment right now, but it's all good. Squirrel. What up, Steven? Ready to start the podcast without me like I'm about to go somewhere. I mean, I am. Well, we about to go somewhere, but yeah, y'all know what I mean. But, and of course, I'm still going to do the podcast. I don't know how frequently I'm going to throw them out there, But I was like, it's time. It's been a while since I did one. So we got to do that. So still going to be making content. It's just going to be more focused on streaming, clips, and again, the podcast. So that's going to be the focus for now until I get settled into my new place. So that's what's going on. But yeah, it's just, this is a good moment for me. And let me tell you something real quick. And I'm going to talk about this towards the end of the podcast when it's time for Squirrel Moments University. But you just got to stay focused. If you stay focused, if you have at least one goal, it's going to make you do things in order to achieve that goal. So just stay focused. just stay focused, y'all. Just stay focused, because I still got a lot that I have to accomplish. I mean, it's a big step. This is not the end, but it's just a big step towards the right direction. I still want a house. I'm still gonna get a house. It's just one step at a time. I'm not ready for a house yet, because a house is a commitment. Because one of my friends, she has a house, and she tells me the amount of work and money that she's been putting towards the house. I'm just not ready for that. That's a big commitment right there. So until I'm ready to like settle down, if I find somebody, that kind of thing, I'm just not ready for a house yet. And a lot of people, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but a couple people approach me and say, as much as you paying for an apartment, you might as well get a house, which is true. Don't get me wrong. That is very true. But what people fail to include in that process is that, yes, it's cheaper to get a house, but as far as like the maintenance, because if you're renting a house or apartment, whatever the case is, the landlord is supposed to take care of those stuff, as far as like maintenance, if the air go out, heat go out, all that stuff. They're supposed to take care of that. Whereas if you got a house, something goes down, that all falls on you. So that's what people fail to mention. Yes, your mortgage might be $700 a month, where about renting a house might be $1,000 a month. But then that extra $300 that you're putting towards the rent and this, that, and the other is also for repairs and all that kind of stuff. People fail to mention that not only you have the mortgage, of course, but then you also got to get homeowners insurance. That's that. You want to protect the things that's in your home, and just in case anything happened, the maintenance of your house, like cutting the grass, you got to get lawnmowers, that kind of equipment. Then like, what else? If things start falling apart, you're paying for that. Bug infestations, you got to pay for the the terminators and all that kind of stuff. Exterminators. I say terminators. What in the Arnold Schwarzenegger? Anyway. But no. It's seriously. That's what people fail to mention. Is like, yeah, you're paying less for the mortgage, but if something happens, that's coming out of your pocket. That is coming out of your pocket. You're not waiting for a landlord to be like, oh, I need you to fix this. Sometimes you're gonna have a struggle with your landlord, as far as fixing and repairs and all that kind of stuff. But by law, they have to. Whereas if you own a house, that is up to you to take care of it. That comes out of your pocket. So I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready for that, because I'm still, still about to go back to school and all that kind of stuff, which is another thing I want to mention. I've mentioned plenty of times that I just got one more class left, right? And those that don't know, I'm going to school for IT and all that kind of stuff. I have one more class and I'm done. I do not like school, but hey, it's whatever. So the job that I'm working at, again, I'm not going to tell y'all what job I'm working for, but first of all, the job that I'm working for, I will say this: it's one of those bigger companies. It's a well-known company. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I'm already working towards getting to the IT department. I already started talking to people over there and all that kind of stuff. I want to do like sit-ins, such as basically like, observe, how stuff works. So I'm already in the process, because while the job pays really good, dealing with the people, like especially this week, oh my gosh, people been having attitudes. Maybe it's the change of weather, change of times, whatever, but people's attitudes was just, this week was tough. This week was tough. I ain't gonna lie. So, and I already knew, because I've been in the call center before, but at least this call center, like as far as everything goes, everything is much more organized than at the other call center that I was working at. It is more organized. There's people that's there to help you. It might take a bit, but there's people there that's able to help you, all that stuff. The system's more organized. It's just the hardest part is dealing with the people, because that's a variable. People are variable. So it's like this call, you might get a real nice person. This person might got the worst attitude in the world, and it's just like, jeez, god damn, like, calm your tits. Jeez. Y'all need to, especially some of the guys that be like, I'm like, when's the last time y'all busting nuts? Because that's what y'all need right now. Relax. It's relax sometimes. But yeah, it's been that. So I know I'm not gonna be able to deal with people that long. I'm gonna deal with it as long as I had to, but the quicker I can get off the regular phones, the better. So yeah, I'm already been working on that. But yeah. You got anything to say about that, Steven? About the moves that we about to make? About to make some big moves, right? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Anyway, what I was ready to say. Hold on, let's take a drink out of this water. Anyway, what was I at? Right. Oh, so let me tell y'all some things I have been catching up on when I was, while I was on my quote unquote hiatus. I started watching, there's 2 shows that I started watching, and they're very interesting. I've been watching The She-Hulk and The Witcher. The Witcher is incredible. I was confused in the beginning, but stuff is starting to make more sense, and I'm loving it. And then She-Hulk, people had their criticisms about it, but I've been enjoying She-Hulk. Okay, yeah, of course, there's some cringe-worthy moments, but it's not as bad as people putting it out to be. It is not that bad. I do have some, some of the CGI in there isn't that great. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's like they're making these shows that they having now got movie, it's movie quality, but at the same time, it's like the budget isn't as big, so I understand it, but at the same time, it is what it is. I'm enjoying it. It's not as bad as people put out to be. Yes, it's cringeworthy at times, but She-Hulk isn't that bad. I'm actually really enjoying it. Plus, it's unlocking some things inside of me. I'm like, okay, I might be into this now. I love thick thighs, and She-Hulk got the thickest thighs, and ooh, I want some thighs to crush me like my head was a watermelon. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. That's awkward. Yeah. She-Hulk, and her plus my favorite color is green. And I ain't gonna lie, she bad anyway. But it's not that bad. I'm actually enjoying it right now. And then The Witcher, the show started to really make me get interested in the lore, because it started off as books, then of course the video games, and now we got the TV show. And I'm enjoying it, because at first I was confused. I'm like, what is going on here, whatever. And then as it went on, I started doing some research into the lore. I didn't do too much because I didn't want to spoil anything, but it is good. It is really good. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm laughing throughout of it. So, and I literally started these shows almost around the same time, because sometimes I catch myself doing things within my comfort zone. So I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So that's what I wanted to do, because sometimes I, again, catch myself watching the same TV shows. I don't really watch TV like talking about, but y'all know what I mean. Start watching the same thing. So I was like, you know what? It's comic books, and then it's video game related and all that kind of stuff. But I've been kind of putting it off She-Hulk just kind of started. But as far as The Witcher, I was like, I've been putting it off for a while. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone much more and more. So, yeah. So that's what I've been doing. I think I told y'all before, as far as like games I've been playing. I think I told y'all I've kind of been playing Gears again. I started from the first one. I'm right now. I kind of took a break on that, but now I finished beating the 4th one. Now I'm on the 5th one, and of course I'm having fun. Playing the 4th one, the 5th one again. I'm starting to see stuff I didn't see the first time, because I did a Let's Play for the 5th one, but at the time that's when I started doing Let's Play, so it wasn't that great quality, whatever. But that's what I've been doing. But anyway, enough of that. I talked about 25. I talked over 20 minutes about myself and this, that, and the other, but that's part of the podcast. I'm Irving TV, Squirrel Moments. We're going to have a lot of those. Ain't that right, Steven? Are you judging me? I thought you was judging me. That's why I'm like, what? Anyway, speaking of video games. Now, of course, we got to talk about Halo. And the reason why I did that big side, because I try to have a lot of hope for Halo Infinite, and I still do. I enjoy the game, But now I'm starting to see what people are talking about. It's like, and y'all know my stance on unfinished games. Y'all know my stance about that. Y'all know how I feel about it. If you don't know, I'm just gonna make it short and simple. Complete the game before it releases, because at least with Halo Infinite, it had a solid foundation. It was just incomplete. Like especially the multiplayer, it was like it just there was some things that were missing, and it just like, okay, Forge mode wasn't on there. Co-op wasn't on there, which is another big thing I'm gonna talk about in a second. But just a lot of things that was missing, and then just like it was bare bones. So even though yes, I enjoy the gameplay is awesome. As much as a Halo fan I am, I'm still stick by. I'm still stick by on that. They should have waited a little bit longer to release the game, because at first I was like, this is what happens when you delay a game. It comes out much better. And at first I was seeing the results of delaying the game, but then it was like, okay, they should have delayed it a little bit longer. So anyway, getting into this story. Speaking of Forge mode, honestly, some people are thinking that Forge mode could be Infinity's last chance. And this story is from Kotaku.com. It was published this Thursday, which what was Thursday? The 8th. And it reads as follows. Halo Infinite oh gosh, here we go again. Halo Infinite fans believe Forge is the game's final hope. Let me tell you something real quick. Y'all know I already couldn't talk, but I gotta get to the flow of things again. The flow of things. I can't tell you why I laughed at that. I can't tell y'all, because then I might reveal some stuff that I don't want to reveal. But anyway, let's continue. What was I ready to say? Oh yeah, I gotta get back to the flow of things. You know, I already couldn't talk, so because I haven't done these podcasts in a while, there's gonna be some moments I kind of stumble over. But that's how I always been. I always stumble over my words and stutter and slur my words and talk with a lisp like this. Cuckoo. His neighbors couldn't stand it, so kick, push. That's a classic. Anyway, let's get back to it. With split screen co-op dead, players are turning to the shooter's robust creation mode. Yeah, I'm like, come on now. Y'all promise us co-op, and then talking about split screen co-op, not like online co-op split screen. It's like y'all say it's gonna have it, and then y'all tell us, it's not gonna have it. Come on. That's it's already bad enough Halo 5 didn't have it, but then y'all gonna tell us it's gonna have it on Infinite, and anyway. Last week, the multiplayer shooter Halo Infinite, which makes headlines more often for its stumbles than its successes, stumbled its biggest PR blow to date. Couch co-op, a feature first flaunted half a decade ago, wouldn't come out as intended. It wasn't delayed as with most of the planned features for Halo Infinite. It was straight up canceled. For fans hoping Infinite will eventually morph into a title worthy of its legacy, the news was a massive letdown. Yes, it was. And even though, not reading the story for the people that's listening to the audio version, but I feel like, I might not use co-op, but there's gonna be some times I might have friends over and say, hey, let's play split screen. Or there's people that's really, they might not want to play online. They just want to play one-on-one against each other, split screen and all that kind of stuff. Not even just multiplayer, the campaign. It's like, come on, let's play split screen. You can't do that. That's one of the main features of Halo. What made Halo so fun, and then y'all took out one of the... Anyway. What was I saying? For fans hoping, and now the community is hanging its last basket of hopes on one feature, Forge, Halo's creation mode. In fact, even though Forge is officially unavailable, players are already using it to supply content they consider absent from Halo Infinite. Forge mode has long been a staple for Halo, having first been introduced in a rudimentary state in 2007's Halo 3, where it allowed players to alter existing maps. For Halo Reach, developer Bungie, then the stewards of the sci-fi shooter series, went all out. The prequel, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm hot, and the fan that I usually have, it makes too much noise, it's basically broken, you gotta lean it a certain way in order for it to work right. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm hot, so you see me sweating, that's why. Anyway. Fabricate, called Forge World. The prequel featured a multiplayer level called Forge World, on which players could fabricate new levels totally from scratch. Forge was improved upon somewhat in Halo in 2012's Halo 4, and then significantly in 2015's Halo 5 Guardians. Both games were developed by 343 Industries, the current studio behind Halo Infinite, and both have Forge functionality either at or shortly after launch. Ooh, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Let me take a sip of this. Let me drink this water real quick. Let me drink this water. Need water, y'all. You gotta stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated. Anyway, this has not been the case for Halo Infinite. If you count its slew of public multiplayer tests, the shooter has been out for about a year now. As a free-to-play game, it's based around the seasonal model, with new seasons rotating content every few months. As Halo Infinite creative lead Joe Staten told Eurogamer last year, Forge was initially planned for a release in May, the end of the game's first season at the very earliest. Then earlier this year, 343 gave a beta version of Forge a late August release date before delaying it to November 8, 2022. Initially, the plan started the game's third season. Season 3 has now been delayed an additional 4 months. Yes, it's some trouble in paradise. That being said, the mode has been leaking like a senator's office all year. A wave, I ain't gonna lie, that was slick. A wave of footage released in February suggests Halo Infinite would include easily the most robust suite of Halo creation tools to date. Man, I don't feel like reading all this. That's a lot to read. I don't feel like reading all that right now. The point that everybody's making is like, okay, yeah, split screen, y'all cancel split screen, one of the most important features of Halo. So now people feel like, you know, Halo Forge is his last hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Forge is our last hope. And I can see where people are coming from, because again, as much as I enjoy Halo Infinite, it's like, come on now. Yeah. Oh crap. I dropped my top to the water. Hold on. Did I lose it? Am I knocking water over? All the equipment is gone. All the equipment is gone. What am I doing in my life? More than something. But anyway. Yeah, and I understand where people are coming from, because it's like, come on, y'all promise all these features and then they're not even there at launch, and then y'all keep saying it's gonna be released during this date, then it's not, then it's not. It's just, I will always stick by this. Delay a game until it's ready to be released. I mean, I understand it's the publishers, aka Microsoft, you know, but delay games. This for all, not even developers, the publishers, because it's the one that's pushing the developers to hurry up and launch this game, because, you know, at the end of the day, they want their money. But delay it. It is not. I'd rather delay a game and have a good product than rush it out, make money, but then it's terrible and then people not gonna buy it. So y'all see what I'm saying? What you think, Steven? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have something in Forge mode that's for squirrels. Maybe they'll, you know, you can go nuts on it. Corny, I'm gonna be corny until the day I die. Corny till the day I die. Anyway, speaking of Microsoft, that leads into our next story, which, okay, I love Game Pass, right? I love Game Pass, you know. And while I do wish some more games was on there, it has a lot of games that I really want to play, right? But of course, I'm talking with lists again. Well, of course, with Game Pass, I just realized something. Majority of my stories from Kotaku. I want a taco now. I want a taco. But anyway, yeah, with the exception of this story, everything's on Kotaku. But I really love Game Pass. I'm a big advocate of it. But my only, I ain't gonna say problem, but I always had a concern about it. I'm like, what if I want to share this with somebody, you know? Because of course you got game sharing for Xbox and all that kind of stuff, but of course the camera went out again. Give me a second, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. So I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the podcast that I recently just got a new phone. I got the new Galaxy S22 because my other phone that I had ended up cracking, so I had to get a new one. So I'm using that new phone for my camera right now. And for some reason, it happened before, but it just randomly kicks it out for some reason. So that's why the camera looks so good with that Ultra HD. But yeah, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. So, but anyway, as I was saying, Microsoft, they had the whole game sharing thing and all that kind of stuff. And I always thought, what if they had a family plan for Game Pass? Well, apparently they do now. And the story is from GameRant.com, and it reads as news, if I remember how to switch over. Anyway, Xbox Game Pass officially reveals friends. Y'all know I can't talk. Xbox Game Pass officially reveals friends and family plan. Xbox is beginning the rollout of a new Game Pass subscription plan that allows friends and family to share access to the service. Ooh, excuse me. Like I said, y'all, I'm starting to get back to the flow of things. So, anyway, when gamers think about, but then again, I've always been kind of, I try to make this podcast as organized as possible, but sometimes it's just, I can go all over the place. And sometimes, anyway, where am I going with this? Steven? Anyway, when gamers think about subscription services, it's hard for Xbox Game Pass not to pop into their heads. The monthly paid service from Microsoft brings new titles to subscribers consistently, even granting them day one releases for less than half the cost of the game. As Xbox Game Pass gains in popularity, more and more titles are being announced for it. And with new games such as High on Life, which I really want to play that, and Warhammer 40k Dark Tide coming to the service in the next few months, a lot of gamers are finding new reasons to sign up. Sound like a teenager who balls this drop. Previously, only an individual could sign up for Xbox Game Pass without the ability to share their accounts and benefits. But it appears that Microsoft is looking to change that as it officially unveils the Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family Pack plan. Yeah. Back in March, it was predicted that Xbox might add a new subscription plan to Game Pass, and now 6 months later, that prediction has come true. Currently, the Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family plan is only available in Ireland and Colombia. Xbox hasn't confirmed yet when the new subscription tier will roll out to other regions, but should the Friends and Family plan prove successful, it will likely be only a matter of time before it is released in other areas. The Friends and Family plan allows users to share their Game Pass subscription with up to 4 players. There isn't much blocking 5 friends from getting together and buying a new Game Pass subscription tier, as the only criteria that needs to be met is all users must live in the same country. Other than that, all 5 users will have full access to the benefits of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, including EA Play, Xbox Live Gold, and all games currently available in the Game Pass library on Xbox and PC. In terms of pricing, the Friends and Family plan costs more than the individual Ultimate subscription, of course. In Ireland, the price of Game Pass Ultimate is €12.99 or around $15, while the Friends and Family plan nearly doubles that cost of €21.99. I think that's euros, equivalent to about $25. That ain't too bad. Split between a potential 5 users, though, the Game Pass Friends and Family plan works out to be much cheaper than 5 individual Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions. Yeah. With this new tier being added to the service, it is possible that when it reaches other regions and is rolled out across the world, Xbox Game Pass Friends, Family and Friends could be a real game changer. I cannot talk, y'all. I'm terrible. But yeah, I'm glad that's coming, because one of the conversations that I always talk about with my sister, because of course she has kids, so she's trying to find cheaper ways for the kids to play games and all that stuff. And we always talk about game sharing, but it's like I really don't buy games. I really don't. I buy them sometimes, like one that I really want to play, I will buy them, but I really don't buy games that often anymore. I've been using Game Pass a lot. So with that, I don't mind getting Game Pass family and friends, and then sharing that with my sister and them. That can really help them out a lot, all that kind of stuff. So, but I think that's cool. always wonder why they didn't start off that way, but things you gotta test out certain things first. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I'm glad that's coming. What you think, Steven? Right, so now you ain't gotta pay for Xbox Game Pass no more. You can just use mine. um, anyway, now this story is interesting, right? Now y'all know Multiverses, which is basically what is it? Warner Brothers, I believe. Yeah, Warner Brothers is basically like the Smash like game, with the Warner Brothers characters roster and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is interesting. Apparently, Velma is no longer a Karen. And I'm going to get to that in a second. No, actually, I'm going to get to that now. And this story is from Kotaku.com, and it reads as follows. I thought this was really funny. And I've been playing Multiverses, but I never noticed this until it was pointed out to me. So, Multiverses patch might stop Velma from calling the cops being a Karen. Instead, she'll call on the Mystery Inc. to kidnap her enemies. Yo, that is funny. That is kind of weird though. And the camera went out on me again. What is going on here? Hold on. There we go. I need to look into that. I hope I ain't got to deal with that too much. But yeah. Right. So I thought that was funny. But I can see where they're coming from with this. When the 1.02 patch notes from the Warner Brothers theme, it was Warner Brothers fighting game Multiverses first went live online ahead of the actual update. It appears that they included an interesting change to Scooby-Doo's Velma. The support characters previously sometimes called the cops to come haul away the players' opponents. A special move that generates some criticism, perhaps generated particularly awkward feelings when characters like actual black man LeBron James were the ones being zipped away in cop cars. Yeah, like I said, that can, although people complain about it a lot, but I can see where they're coming from. The new patch notes suggested that now, and perhaps a more thematically appropriate move, she'll call on her pals at Mystery Inc. to take opponents away in their signature van, the Mystery Machine. So now, rather than having the police unquestionably kidnap you, you'll be taken away by a gang of teenage vigilantes, or so it seemed. Previously, Velma could call the police on her foes if she accumulated enough evidence with her snooping passive. Although the ability isn't foolproof, the opponent could potentially be removed from the match entirely, something that some players have suggested is not exactly the most comfortable of features. The Mystery Machine will presumably work in the same way. This is where the story gets weirder. The information was obtained from a video of the patch notes taken roughly 12 hours ago, and exact text is referenced across the web in various screenshots and write-ups, which sometimes note the website appears to have pulled the original text. Right now, the official patch notes page for version 1.02 doesn't reflect those changes. It's unclear whether the previous included change will actually take place, but Kotaku reached out to Warner Brothers for clarification and did not receive a response by the time of writing. Blah, 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 whoop, yep. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was really interesting. At least they show that they're listening to their audience, because that's important. Even though I feel like that was a little, I don't feel too bad. I don't really feel a particular way about it, but at least that means that they're listening, that Warner Brothers is listening to their audience, which they should, because this game is a live service game, so they need to be able to listen to the audience. I'm gonna take a sip of this water real quick. This podcast might be a little bit short because I'm on my last story, but all that shows to me is that they're listening. It might be over listening, but that's all that shows me, that they're listening, and they're trying to avoid controversy. So I understand it. So hold on, let me answer this text real quick, y'all. I'm sorry. Hold on. I didn't answer that, but yeah, that's all that's telling me. What you think, Steven? Well, I mean, yeah, I understand it. Like I said, LeBron James fight. Next thing you know, Velma called the police, and the police takes him away. Yeah, that could be awkward. I understand that completely, but yeah. So here is the last story that we got. Now this is a crazy story, but I'm not surprised. But it's crazy. So apparently, GameStop has been plus I'm hot. I don't know what's going on. Squirrel moment. But yeah, apparently GameStop is wiretapping their customers. And this story is from Kotaku as well. And it reads as follows. GameStop accused of wiretapping customers without their consent. The lawsuit also alleges GameStop shares the data with another company. Yeah, GameStop, it sounds like they're very desperate at this point. A suit has been filed in California accusing games retailer and NFT clearance house GameStop of recording conversations that customers have with the company's support service, then sharing the secret transcripts of those wiretaps with a third party that boasts of its ability to harvest personal data. The class action lawsuit filed by Miguel A. Lisa, in the federal court and first reported by Bloomberg, says GameStop covertly wiretaps the communication of all visitors who utilize the chat feature at GameStop.com and shares the secret transcripts of those wiretaps with a third party that boasts the ability to harvest personal data from the transcripts for marketing and other purposes. Defendant neither informs visitors nor obtains their prior express consent to these intrusions. The key here is in that GameStop is recording customers' data and sharing it with another company, is that the company is accused of doing so without gaining the consent of customers. This will be a violation of California's Invasion of Privacy Act, CIPA, under which website operators cannot create transcripts of visitors' conversations or provide such transcripts to third parties without obtaining prior express consent from all parties to the conversation. Lisa's lawyers argue that compliance with CIPA is easy, and the vast majority of companies comply with the law by simply notifying website visitors if their conversations are being recorded. Going from bad to worse, the defendant shares the secret transcripts with Zendesk, a third party that publicly boasts about its ability to harvest highly personal data from chat transcripts for sales and marketing purposes. Rather than merely providing a software service, defendant allows Zendesk to intercept and use the secret transcripts. It is hot in here, y'all. Like, this ceiling fan is not working. Hopefully, when I get my new place, I find a new fan and to keep cool and this and that and the other. But anyway, given the nature of the defendant's business, website visitors typically share highly personal, sensitive data with defendant when using a website chat feature. Consumers will be shocked and appalled to know that defendant secretly creates transcripts of those conversations and share them with a third party. Defendant's conduct is both illegal and offensive. Yeah. We reach out to GameStop for comment and we'll update if we hear back. GameStop. At this point, I'm surprised they haven't they haven't went down yet. It's gonna happen eventually, but GameStop is desperate at this point from EFTs, but I still don't 100% EFTs. It's just like crypto. At least with cryptocurrency, the way that I kind of define it is basically internet stocks. It kind of works like stocks, but I don't know. GameStop at this point, y'all just need to just stop while y'all still got the dignity. Cause I stopped shopping at GameStop a long time ago. The only time I will really shop at GameStop if I'm benefit from it. And what I mean by that is that's how I got my Xbox One S. I traded in my Xbox. No. I'm sorry. My Xbox Series S. No. Oh my gosh. Let's start over. That's how I got my Xbox Series S, is by trading in my Xbox One X, and I was able to get the S basically completely free. So that benefited me. But other than that, I can't support. Y'all know how I am. Everybody's going to be dirty as far as like corporate goes. But there's a difference between kind of being sneaky and outright dirty about certain things. So, and GameStop, they take advantage of their customers. Like, for example, the extended warranties and all that stuff. Like, for some people that can't speak good English, they'll slap them, whatchamacallit, on there. The extended warranty without even asking them. So, and GameStop approves of this. So GameStop is just slowly burning down to the ground. And I stopped shopping with them a long time ago. Like I said, I might shop there if it benefits me more than anything else, but it is what it is. What you think, Steven? I thought it was interesting too, Steven, the fact it said that GameStop is wiretapping people. When I saw that headline, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I gotta read this. So yeah, that's GameStop. But anyway, now let's go to the IRL section, which IRL stands for in real life. And this is the portion of the podcast when I talk about certain story that's like real. And of course, these other stories are real as well, but I'm talking about something that can impact people and all that kind of stuff. You know, something that is, again, real. Now, I didn't have no stories. I couldn't really find no stories that, you know, I thought would be interesting to talk about on here. Because, again, I don't do politics, religion, all that kind of stuff. Of course, you know, there's been the death of the queen, whatnot. But I didn't know too much about the queen, so I'm not going to talk about her. I actually want to do some research on why, you know, she was as big as she was. Of course, she's the queen, but still. But I did come across this. And I want to talk about this. I feel like this is important. Let me show you something real quick. This is about Gucci Mane. You know, Gucci Mane, the rapper. I'm going to show y'all this picture real quick. Black Love. Gucci Mane and Keisha Kior are expecting their second child together. I'm going to show y'all this picture. If you're watching the video version, I'm showing y'all this picture right now. Look how happy Gucci looks. Look at that smile. Look how good he looks. He looks so healthy compared to when you first came out. He was on all them drugs and doing this and that. And then there's going to be people out there that's going to be like, oh, man, he looking like a bitch and this and that and whoop-de-whoop. He not a real man no more. Oh, he a clone, which that conversation. Like, and let me tell you something real quick. The people that says everything that I gave an example of are the most toxic people. That is toxic masculinity. This is how a man, I'm going to bring up this picture one more time. This is what a man should be looking like, should be happy, should be smiling, should be like, this is the most I've ever seen Gucci smile. Because you know, Gucci was a savage when he first came out. He had the big belly. He was out there fighting women, and he was on all kind of drugs and all this stuff. Now Gucci's still Gucci, but it's like, all right, let's focus on different things. Let's focus more on healthy things. Let's focus on my family, this and that, whoop. This is what I like to call heal energy. This is why I've been on for the last year or two, just healing. Just us as men, we are expected to tackle the world. We are expected to tackle the world and expected not to have emotions. And just, I'm proud of Gucci. It's just like, come on, this was a legit smile. Found out that he's about to have his second child. It's like, come on, this man is much more healthier. He not only lost all that weight, but also is more fit now, muscular and all that stuff, and keeping up with it. You know, that was it, 4 years in jail, 4 years as in jail probably really helped him out. And I have feelings about the correction system, but it seemed like it really helped out Gucci this time. It really did. And I'm just happy and glad for him. Like, yes, he made mistakes, he messed up, but he turned that around. He's more focused on his family, his money, putting people on, and all that kind of stuff. And this is how this is what all men should work towards, just to have that happiness, just to be able to smile like that, whatever is going on. Because I came across this TikTok the other day. And it was about this lady. She was like, I don't care if my man paying bills. Like, why should I do this and that for him? Why should I cook for him? And there was this other lady that was kind of, I ain't gonna say debating, but it was like a back and forth. It was like, she was saying, it's like, if this man is paying all the bills, working hard and all this stuff, you sitting at home doing nothing? No. You need to show I'm not saying slave for your man, but it's like, this man working all day, paying your bills and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you have a roof over your head and all that stuff. I'm not saying it need to be an everything thing, but come on, cook dinner for that man. Come on, give him some good head or something like that. I mean, drink him off while he's playing the game. Come on. No, but seriously, come on. Like, it's like, as men, we're expected to keep on going no matter what's going on. We could be going through the worst crisis and we're still expected to perform. So I'm glad for Gucci. That's all I'm saying. Y'all know how I've been. I'm all about mental health. I'm all about healing. And that's what I'm going to always, I'm always going to talk about therapy. And I understand therapy is not for everybody, but I'm always going to bring it up. Therapy has really helped me out. And I haven't been to my therapist in a while. And why do my camera keeps disconnecting? Oh my gosh. Hold on, y'all. This is getting frustrated. I don't know what's going on. After I finish recording this podcast, whatever, I'm going to see what's going on, because it should not be doing that. It keeps disconnected for some odd reason. But anyway, I'm all about healing, mental health, mental health, and all that kind of stuff. And again, therapy is not for everybody. And I haven't been to my therapist in a while because of my work schedule. But now, with things starting to kind of tone down a little bit, I'm finally working my actual work schedule. I can start going to my therapist again and all that kind of stuff. Healing, this, again, I'm looking at this picture because it's still in my face. And this is what men should look like. This is what people should want from men, just people in general, just to be happy, just be able to enjoy life. So I'm happy for Gucci. I'm happy, he's expecting his second child, well, with his wife. Of course, he has another child that's out there. But all I'm saying is this, just ladies, you should be excited to see a man smile instead of always giving a hard time. It's just nagging, I should say, not being happy with your man just because he might be slipping in one area, but he's taking care of everything else. So anyway, that's all I want to say on that. Now, we get into the end of the podcast. Hold on. I'm sorry. What you think about that, Steven? Right. Just like you want to see me smile, I want to see you smile too. Shoot. And like that, just like my brothers, shoot. I tell my brothers I love them. I want the best for them. Like I was talking to one of my brothers the other day, and we're just talking, and I'm looking like, in my mind, like, he lost a lot of weight and this, that, and the other. We were talking about something totally different. And I said out of nowhere, out of left field, I was like, bro, you look good right now. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, not on no, and this is my brothers. I ain't gotta say no homo or anything like that. These are my bros. I freaking love them. I don't have to say no homo. I'm like, dude, you look good. I mean, you lost a lot of weight. You look more healthy. You look more happier. I just said out of nowhere. So it's just like, we should be wanting to see each other happy and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I'm saying. So just like you want to see a smile on my face, I want to see a smile on your face, even though you be having nuts in your mouth. Anyway, since we're at the end of the last portion of the podcast, we're now going to the SMU portion of it, or Squirrel Moments University. And this is the part of the podcast where I give advice or anything I feel like that can maybe help my watchers, my audience, my listeners, all that kind of stuff. No matter how big or small, whether it's mental health, food advice. I don't really give financial advice, but anything I feel like, oh my gosh, come on, camera. Hold on, y'all. Give me one moment. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, I did a reset and I did some things, so hopefully that shouldn't happen. But again, it's my new phone, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, as I was saying, Squirrel Moments University, this is the part of the podcast, again, when I give advice and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, I feel like that advice can help somebody out, as I feel like the advice that I give out also helps me. So, this is today's lesson. Y'all ready? You ready? Steven, you ready? You ready? And this one is feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but everything that I've been going through, like the good stuff. Let me tell you something real quick. Y'all ready? I always talk about goals on here, but let me tell you about this perspective of goals. Goals give you direction. And I know that's self-explanatory, but sometimes you kind of have to explain it. I want to get more deeper into what I mean by that, what I mean by goals give you direction. Because if you think about it, if you don't have no goals or anything like that, if you don't know what you want or what, anything of that nature, then it's like, you're not going to do much with your life, because it's like you don't have no desire to do anything, because it's like you don't have no goals or anything like that. But if you have goals, here's the best way I can explain it. This is the best way that I can explain it. For example, with my apartment, I've been talking about moving for a very long time now. But when I was working at Amazon, I wasn't making that much money. And then plus, I was getting tired of that environment. So because of that, I decided to make a change and get a new job. And then the funny thing about that is I got a new job that was paying more, But then while I was in training, the whole company decided to give everybody raises. It was a good ass raise too. I mean, it was, I ain't gonna say super life changing, but it was enough that I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you. But without the goal of wanting to move, and then the thing is, the reason why I also want to move as well, not because I need my own place, but also I want to do content creation without any restrictions. So because of those goals, it made me make the moves that was possible, the necessary moves that was needed in order to get more funds, to get more money, so that way I can move and support and, live on my own. Because I always say I don't want no roommates, and I trust my brothers, whatever. I trust my brothers, but I still don't want no roommates. I want to live on my own. I need my own space. I need to be able to do whatever I want to do on my own time and all that kind of stuff. So the vision of wanting to do content creation, wanting to move, all that kind of stuff, it made me do other things so I can get to my goal, to get to where I want to be. So again, I'm gonna try to make this quick as possible, but this is probably gonna be one of my shortest episodes. But that's what I mean by goals give you direction. Because if you have a goal and keep sticking to that goal, you're gonna be like, okay, I need to make this. How do I get to this goal? What are the steps that's needed to achieve this goal? And then you're gonna start doing more with your life. Whether it's, oh, you need more money. I need more money. So what I need to do? Either it's get a new job, or get get an education, or get promoted within the company. You're gonna start doing things in order to meet your goals. One small goal can make your life change, and like that's where I'm at right now. Is just that's how I was able to get here. Because again, as far as me moving, ain't no way I could have been able to achieve that with Amazon. And with things going up, like the prices and all that kind of stuff, rent is going up. It wouldn't be no way I could do that with Amazon. Plus, I had some debt that I wanted to clear out and all that. So that made me get up and say, all right, time for a new job. I do like this job. I will say this, it does have its downs, but there's a lot of ups. I love his training and all that kind of stuff. So I will say this, this is the most money I've ever made. I'm not even gonna lie. It doesn't feel like it because all that money's going towards the apartment, moving, all that kind of stuff. But the fact that I got the funds and the resources to do that, yeah. So goals give you direction. It helps you. It just helps out, because when you have those goals out, you're gonna be like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But how do I do that? How do I get there? Then you're going to start looking at other ways to get, travel that road. And it's going to just improve your life in the long run. You're going to start making more better decisions to be, just healthy decisions and all that. What you think, Steven? Right. It's just like you have a goal. I don't know what your goal is other than having nuts in your mouth. But I mean, it's just, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory. So, but yeah, just goals give you directions. If you focus on your goals, you're going to start doing other things to get to those goals, hopefully positive things. And yeah, that just like, for example, you as a kid, you want to buy something. So what you start doing like chores and shoveling snow out of people's yard, raking leaves and all that stuff to get that toy or whatever you want, whatever game you want. So that's all it boils down to. Just have a goal and then start from there, and then you'll start making more positive decisions and positive things start happening. So yeah, we're at the end of the podcast, y'all. We're at the end of the podcast. I appreciate everybody that's been patient with me, that's been sticking with me. I know this is probably not my best episode because, like I said, I'm back and getting in the flow of things. Plus, it's hot in this room. So when I'm hot, I get really uncomfortable and it just, ugh. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Again, I appreciate everybody that's been watching, watching the video version, which is on youtube.com/iIrvingTV. Everybody that's listening to the audio version, which is on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. I just appreciate everybody that's been supporting me. And again, y'all not obligated to, but if you want to support the movement, if y'all want to make a donation, y'all can go ahead and send a donation over to my Cash App, which is $IRvingTV, if y'all want to support it. But just watching me and just sharing my content and all that stuff alone is really helpful. So I appreciate that. Was there anything else you got to say before we go, Steven? Even though you tried to take over earlier. You say stay focused? All right. Yep. That's the easiest. That's a good advice as well. Stay focused, y'all. Again, me and Steven appreciate y'all. And as usual, promoting peace, gaming, and wings.